Tycho Brahe was a very well-known Danish astronomer in the 16th century. He is also so well known, he is known as the greatest pre-telescope astronomer. He's also very wacky and very controversial. As a child, Brahe was kidnapped by his uncle, and his parents quite literally just didn't fight for him back. So he went on to live with his uncle. In his early life and adult life, he was studying law at the University of Copenhagen, Copenhagen being within the capital of Denmark. Upon witnessing a solar eclipse, though, he switched his interest from law to space and began to study and observe space. He began reading a lot of books, a lot of literature about space, and just kind of fully delved into it. This is where Brahe's gigantic ego would step in and take over. An ego so large that he would end up losing his nose in a sword duel with a classmate over who was the better mathematician. Because in times like this, people would not resort to such barbaric ways such as fist fighting. Rather, they would sword duel, because possibly killing someone over a petty argument was way more noble than delivering a couple of bruises. One day, a new light would appear in the sky. In times which Brahe lived, it was thought that space was an unchangeable constant, as in anything that did change would only be within the atmosphere. But Brahe understood the fundamentals of parallax. Parallax being the closer an object is to you, the more it looks as if it's changing position. Brahe was able to notice that the new light in the sky did not match up to what our star's movement was. Therefore, the light in the sky had to be way farther. This light in the sky is known as SN 1572, also known as Tycho's supernova, which was discovered in 1572 by Tycho. This light in the sky sat in the constellation Cassiopeia, or commonly known as Vane Queen Cassiopeia. Brahe is known as one of the richest astronomers ever. This is due to the fact that he owned nearly 1% of all wealth within Denmark. This is equivalent to a single person in America today owning around $1.23 trillion. Brahe was later hired by King Frederick II of Denmark and was gifted an island where Brahe built the first observatory of Christian Europe called Oranienborg. This is also the only observatory of Christian Europe to not contain a telescope, because this is pre-telescope times for astronomers. He would use his observatory to invent and better astronomical instruments like armillary spheres to model the sky and quadrants for angle measurement. Every single night, Brahe would document the night sky. He would go on to document over 1,000 new stars and found that the stars do not move relative to each other. This would either mean that the stars are so far away that the parallax cannot be accounted for, or that there was no parallax because the Earth did not move. This idea was so unique, he even invented his own model called the Tychonic system, which is a mix of the geocentric model and the heliocentric model smashed together. His model was extremely unique and proposed that the Earth would stay still in the middle of the universe, while all the other planets orbited the Sun, while the Sun orbited the Earth, though this would later be proven wrong via our new models. Brahe was a bit of a party animal. He would throw gigantic parties with his gigantic pool of wealth and indulge in exotic pleasantries such as a pet elk. Though, at one of his friends' parties, this elk would miraculously get drunk, fall down some stairs, and tragically die. This elk is theorized to actually have been a moose, though they just called it an elk. Though you may believe that a smart astronomer such as Brahe would learn from past mistakes, he in fact did not. Later on, he would get into another sword duel, but this time it was in the dark, and he would lose the other parts of his nose, rendering him practically noseless. This is when he would get fitted with the brass nose that he is known for having. Brahe would go on to hire a man part of his court named Jep. Jep had dwarfism, and Brahe believed that Jep had the ability to see into the future and was a clairvoyant being. Brahe also practiced alchemy, which is a very light science-based practice which focuses on magic. Brahe would act like a mentor to Johannes Kepler, who is another great astronomer of the Renaissance era, though they would get into many heated arguments and battles due to the fact that Brahe would keep much of his data secret. Brahe would later die in 1601 due to a bladder infection because he did not want to use the bathroom during a party. 400 years later, analysis of Brahe's skeleton shows that he had mercury along his mustache hairs, which delivers two possibilities. Was he poisoned, or rather was mercury used as a medicine to treat him? If so, many believe that Kepler was one of the people to have poisoned Brahe, specifically because of their feud, and so Kepler could obtain Brahe's data. Anyways, that will conclude my video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.